Good evening. All right. So, the three major concepts or ideas that I learned regarding leadership theories. The first one is the operation of prototypes. According to Dugan, the more a particular trait is observed, the stronger it becomes the overall prototype. And so I think about, growing up in a small town limited my exposure to a variety of administrators. I perceived leaders to be white men who were some type of coach or who had been a coach. However, my college and professional experiences have allowed me to meet and interact with leaders of a different race, sex, and ethnicity. The second major concept that I learned is willful blindness. And my most favorite quote in these two chapters is, "You cannot fix a problem that you refuse to acknowledge." And so I think about how many times I allow my perception to not physically and mentally see a problem. I'm guilty of believing that my perception, both personally and professionally, is the right way. And so that leads in to the third major concept is to self-reflect critically. And as a leader, it's important for me to continue to recognize and develop an openness to the perception of others. I must take the time to reflect on ideas from different perceptions and positions. And I see this as one of the most challenging for myself because whenever I self-reflect critically, then odds are it's going to not make me right all of the time. So I've got to work on that and learn to be okay with that. And so when I take all of these concepts and I tie them to personal experiences, I think about some interviews that I've had recently. And one, talking about prototyping, one principal told me that they were looking for a male AP. And so I think about, well, what could the male do that I couldn't? And another one in a similar situation, after the interview, I asked for some face-to-face feedback. Like I had to know to create personal goals. I obviously wasn't good enough, so I was like, well, I've got to grow from this experience. And so I sat down and I got the experience. You've taught 7 years, you've taught 3 grades, maybe you need more exposure. And then I got the response of, well, you have such a strong relationship with the people in this building. Can you evaluate them? And the one that just really hit me hard and reading these chapters brought it to the forefront was I was asked a question in the interview pertaining to what's the toughest thing about your job. Well, I got emotional and began crying and apologized, but made it through and said, we have these kids 7 hours a day. And sometimes it's not the curriculum that teaches the most meaningful things. Sometimes it's taking the time and teaching our kids how to be, good people and how to work hard and the meaning of accountability and hoping that they take it outside of our school and teach it to siblings or parents or other family members to make them, successful and impactful humans. Well, I was told that my emotions were a sign of weakness. And as I read, I began thinking, if a man, based on prototypes, if a man would have had those same emotions, that would have been a sign of passion for him. So, these two chapters just really hit home for me on experiences and things that I need to work on. And so I've got some work to do, but I enjoyed it. So hope you guys have a great weekend.